For the balance of the hour, we are joined by Pastor David Manning of Atla.org, Atla World Church, there in New York City. They're in Harlem. And Reverend Manning has, again, tens of millions of views online. National television has covered him ad nauseum, attacked him. He got a visit, what was it, a month and a half ago or so?
Back in November.
Back in November by the, boy, time flies, by the 2 months ago, by the Secret Service, and saying they were also CIA with New York police. So I wanted to get caught up to speed on what happened there, because you were expecting to be arrested, but thank God that hasn't happened yet because you're so visible. But recap what happened there and any new developments, Reverend Manning.
Well, they did come on the 16th of November. And by the way, thank you, Alex, for having me on your broadcast today. It's a real pleasure and honor. They were here on the 16th of November. They unannounced. They kind of burst in on me. I had no idea they were coming, could not be prepared for them. But they came up, CIA, Secret Service, Homeland Security, and New York City Community Services Police. Now, that's a nice way of saying riot control, crowd control, police department. They came into my study where I happened to have been doing business at the time. And, of course, they asked me about the question that stated something that I had stated to kill the president. Well, I explained to them, and they were very well aware of the fact that what I stated was that I believe Obama is an illegal alien, that he should be put on trial for treason, found guilty, and executed. That's exactly what I said. And they were taking it from a quote that I posted up on YouTube. And I explained that to them. Of course, I also explained that I didn't have anything to say to them if I was not under arrest. And so they left. Now, of course, there's a bit more detail, but I've explained this once, and I thought I'd just I have since that time sent a letter, an official letter to Janet Napolitano, complaining about that intrusion by her Homeland Security group. I've sent a letter to the New York City Police Department as well. None of them have responded, but I'm asking for answers. Why did they come? Obviously, they know that I have the constitutional right to speak out, and not only that, but the Constitution does call for execution when found guilty of treason in America. So I suspect that their reasons for coming were more nefarious, or at the very least, they wanted to intimidate me in their presence and their visit. But I haven't heard anything from any of them since then.
Reverend Manning, I mean, I think you're a good guy. I like you, and I think you have a lot of courage. Me personally, I think Obama is just a powerful puppet of the New World Order to give left cover to new wars and police state and banker bailouts. But I also expose Bush as a puppet. I mean, I think that if Obama got arrested and tried for treason, I mean, it's all the power backers that back him. That would turn him into some type of hero and some type of victim if I mean, that makes it all about the president. But I guess from your research, you think Obama is really running the show?
Well, no. I mean, I think I agree with you in as much as that he is indeed a puppet. There's no doubt about that. And there are those who pull the strings. From my point of view, I suspect that someone has to start being accountable at some point and at some level. And he is visible. Of course, those who pull the strings, those who have been pulling the strings, I completely agree with you regarding George Bush. I don't think that Obama could be president without George Bush. I think George Bush and John McCain handed Obama the presidency because of the pulling of the strings from higher up and from various organizations that have been pulling strings for quite some time. No doubt about that. However, in my view, I think Obama needs to be held accountable, and like Abdullah Matala, maybe he'll start talking on those who actually put him up to put the explosives in his underwear. Maybe Obama would tell us who put the explosives in his underwear. But I also think that Obama, in a large sense, Alex, has influenced people, especially in the black community, and others as well, in a way that's perhaps very spiritually evil, and that needs to be rectified as well.
What are you saying I mean, give us the bill of particulars. What is the treason Obama's committing? The bank's robbing us, letting Geithner and others keep the money for themselves, keeping it secret, lying about what the health care plan really did, unconstitutional, launching new wars, going into Pakistan.
All of that is a part of what he is doing. May not necessarily be considered treason because there are certain mandates constitutionally, executive privileges and power and congressional powers legislatively that he is able, and as the commander-in-chief, that he's able to do those things. You may be able to bring a moral case against him for the wars that he has continued. But the banking idea, the bailout for the banks, you can bring a moral argument against him as well. My specific treason charges are simple. It's the fact that he is not a U.S. citizen constitutionally eligible to hold the office, that he does not fit the constitutional bill of Section 2, Article 1, Article 2, rather, Section A of the Constitution to actually serve as U.S. president. There's a lot of information floating around and questions floating around that are just absolutely unprecedented and unreasonably answers being withheld regarding his birth. But I've got something else, Alex, I want to talk to you about as well with respect to his education at Columbia University, or the alleged education at Columbia University. But it is the fact that he is constitutionally ineligible that makes him a treasonous target.
Well, there's also the treason trying to hand us over at Copenhagen to United Nations control and to give part of our GDP and other forms of taxes to the IMF and World Bank. I mean, if that isn't treason, I don't know what is.
Well, you're absolutely right, and that's one of the reasons why I keep following your reports on where our world is going and who's actually calling the shots. It appeared that the Copenhagen world climate change or global warming event seemed to have fizzled. I don't think so. I would never think that those people are as powerful as they are would allow it to have fizzled. They're regrouping for whatever reason. But it appeared to me that Obama was poised to hand over America's sovereignty to a world government, and in exchange, perhaps they would give him a major world leadership position. That's what appeared to me that was going on. And I still think it's in the works.
Oh, they've clearly already, he's the first U.S. president to become the chair of the UN Security Council.
Absolutely.
That clearly violates the Constitution. We give the article sections in Fall of the Republic. And clearly he's trying to cede authority unconstitutionally, and then that is the definition of treason, is to swear an oath and then sell your country out to foreign interest.
No, you're absolutely right about that. No doubt about that. And that's perhaps a more grievous one, because then the insidiousness of actually doing that and conspiring with other nations. So he would have to have started on this process then quite some time ago, not during the election cycle. But and those who are pulling the strings on his presidency and him as a puppet would have had to have thought about this years ago, more than just recently.
Absolutely. Expanding along those lines, Obama has the lowest approval rating of any president 1 year into office in history. And he got that record 8 months in, but it continues to slide at record levels. I mean, he's plunging in free fall right now, and everything he's doing is falling apart, but he doesn't care. And now he has announced, and his former head of cybersecurity resigned and said the Pentagon is covertly taking over the internet. And then Obama came out, it was CNET News, you name it, and said we may shut the web down to protect it, and we are feeding everything through these NSA hubs now. I mean, that's treason against the Constitution and dwarfs George Bush's illegal spying. But again, it's just the progression of these puppets carrying out this agenda. And I remember you a year ago saying that the government and Obama were going to go after free speech. And now Cass Sunstein, the regulation czar, is telling all the federal agencies that they want to, quote, ban conspiracy theories. And they say that means criticizing global warming. Europe wants to do that. I mean, it really is shocking that they don't care if the people are waking up to them. They don't care if it's obviously criminal. They don't. They're so outrageous. I'm even blown away. I mean,
you're right. You know, you first started this segment. We're talking about his popularity ratings are in the toilet, if you will, and going deeper. And but Alice, I have to tell you, I don't believe he cares about his ratings right now. I think there has been such a conspiracy to control this nation and other nations.
No, you're right. I mean, he's on a mission. They are sprinting for the finish line.
Right, right. So his popularity is not an issue with him. It may be an issue with someone who's naive about what's happening, but not with him. They are in control, and they're going to shut down. I expect. I know that I'm tapped. I know that I'm listened to with everything. I think the reason why, and I didn't make that clear earlier, that the Secret Service came to visit me. They wanted me to know you're being watched, boy, and we've got you on our line. And everything you say and do, we're monitoring. I think they wanted me to know that.